dysfunction, answering the call. Osceola's whispers, the truth we unveil. With each podcast episode, we set sail. Unsanctioned voices, we won't be ignored. Taking through lies, we strike a chord. Unsanctioned truth, we're here for the fight. John and Tom shining through the night. With every debate, we're raising the stakes, taking down villains for justice's sake. Politicians trembling, they know we're awake. With facts on our side, we're here to shake. From local elections to making it clear, together we rise, let's spread the fear. Shining the light, the darkness won't last. In Osceola's depths, we're breaking the cast. Unsanctioned truth, we're here for the fight. John and Tom shining through the night. With every debate, we're raising the stakes, taking down villains for justice's sake. Shining the light, the darkness won't last. In Osceola's depths, we're breaking the cast. Unsanctioned truth, we're here for the fight. John and Tom shining through the night. With every debate, we're raising the stakes, taking down villains for justice's sake. So tune in each week, don't miss the show. John and Tom will help you know.
Get some.
Welcome to Unsanctioned.
I hear that a lot. People say the American dream is slipping away. I want to go to you, Adianis. You're from a district that is 68% Hispanic, mostly Puerto Ricans, which is interesting to see the numbers of Puerto Ricans that are switching parties, traditionally very Democratic. What's happening?
Well, there is a new thing happening because, as you said, the district is 68% Hispanic, and it's the first time in the history of Florida that we have 50% of that 68% vote Republican for the first time. So Hispanics are waking up. Hispanics are understanding that we are very conservative and that the Democrat Party does not represent us.
Yeah. Oh, by the way.
Well, John, you know, we went through a couple of things this past week. We did deal with that hurricane that came through, and I always love when we see, you know, the boat, the kid, you know, those were 3 kids in that boat with a Trump flag going through the flooded streets. And then, of course, we heard that yesterday, the passing of our friend, Pastor Adianis Morales Robles, just unbelievable. What an amazing person she was, amazing human being. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. We dedicate the show this evening to our friend and our patriot, Adianis Morales, and her husband Joey, and her family. This is a great American family. They have come here. They have been preaching the conservative message uh, for years and doing a great job of it. You can hear there that she is losing her voice. She was a speaker at the Faith and Freedom event, this past one, and has been previously, and many more things. It's one gone too soon. So it's definitely a hit to our community here, our conservative community in Central Florida and throughout Florida. She was truly a great patriot and a great family person, and we wish her family the very best, and all of our prayers are with them right now.
You know, John,
Uh,
she just, she was such an amazing, nice person, even when she didn't have to be, and went out of her way so many times for people, always inviting people to events, trying to help people along. I'll never forget that when we had the Florida Freedom Festival, right?
mhm.
Most of the volunteers were from Osceola County, or at least a lot of them. They were volunteering so they could get to see President Trump. And the party was not going to let them see President Trump. They would let them see Governor DeSantis when he went to speak, but they were told that they were not allowed to see President Trump. And a bunch of us went to Adianis and told her this, and she fought to get those volunteers access to see President Trump. And I just thought that was just amazing of her. I can't say enough good things about her.
Yeah, that was a really crazy time. That was at the height of the Trump versus DeSantis situation, and she was always a big Trump supporter. She was a Latinos for Trump person. Just and more importantly than just the political aspect of her career was really about spreading um, the idea and the understanding that God did not want us to not be part of politics. Like that, God's expectation was that you did your duty, your civic duty, right?
Yeah.
Your biblical duty. And that was her message. And she always spoke of a specific scripture, speaking about um, and she was very gracious, and uh, she was a great person, a great friend, a good, very good friend of mine, and we're sorry to lose her, and we pray for her and her family, and we know that
Yeah.
I'm sure misses her very much. So we dedicate the show to her, and this will be just a great reminder of how fragile life is, and that this is not a long term thing. We all know, we know the experience of being children and thinking that 15 minutes is forever, right? And then you get to our age, and you're like, 15 minutes is it's not long enough to get anything done, right? And life goes by in a flash, and that's how it works. And so you got to do what you can while you're here, and she did that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Alianis, for everything that you've done, and thank you to that family for everything that you've done in the name of our union and in the name of liberty and freedom and faith.
Yeah.
Well, we do have a great show. This is episode. Let me pull up the show here while I have a moment. We have a
Number
ton of
30
great
on the
stuff to talk
30th.
about. Yep, this is Florida episode 30. You just saw a pair of Floridians. There's nothing more typical of a Floridian during a hurricane than riding watercraft through the streets, waving a patriotic flag. That's a true Florida right there.
Yeah.
And then of course we said goodbye to our great friend. Other stories that we're going to talk about tonight: Secret Service fixes lapses from the Trump security apparatus with LGBTQ techniques. We'll talk about that. That's crazy, huh? Who would have thought that you'd find out how to do security at an LGBTQ conference? Florida's Matt Gaetz says that DHS knows of more assassination attempts. That's crazy that there might be more out there, and that it takes a congressman to talk about it, but the Secret Service is not taking care of it, certainly not securing the safety of the former president. The Dems shamelessly try to capitalize on the hurricane. Broward Republicans fighting to elect a far left candidate over an establishment politician.
Wait till you meet
Politics
this
gets
guy.
crazy. Yeah. Politics gets crazy with threats of violence flying and somebody getting arrested over it. We'll talk about that. A new front opens in Manatee County as the civil war of the Republican Party is deepening, irking local leaders. Kissimmee traffic patterns looking to change after 2025. Martinez looks like he's in big trouble in 25. St. Cloud borrowing $90 million for public safety. Osceola Heritage Park is on the block. St. Cloud underneath the residence. What a shame that is, huh?
Yeah.
That's kind of a sad story for the city of St. Cloud. And then we'll pay another tribute to Adianis Morales as we end the show. So that and more on this episode 30 of Unsanctioned Florida. We'll say a quick prayer and then we'll get right down to the show. Lord, we are truly grateful to be able to share this life with one another here, to be in a community where people care about their state and their country, to be part of a movement, to inspire people to do more, to serve, and less to serve themselves. Father, we hope that you allow everyone to just appreciate the limited and short amount of time that we have in this world, and that we make sure that we spread the love and we take care of one another, and that we do the things that bring justice and protect innocence in this world. In your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, let's get into the show. What do you got first, Tom?
All right, John. So, like you alluded to, crazy that our Secret Service is sending agents to an LGBTQ retreat at Walt Disney World 2 months after its negligence nearly got President Trump killed. This agency definitely needs an overhaul. Watch this, John. Here's Jesse Waters talking about this.
2 months since Trump was almost assassinated on the Secret Service's watch, and the Biden-Harris administration is just shrugging it off. A new report from Susan Crabtree is showing us exactly where the Secret Service's priorities are. The Secret Service is looking for agents to attend an all-expense-paid trip to an LGBTQ out and equal workplace summit at Disney World next month. So in October, at the peak of the presidential campaign, with Trump zigzagging across the battlegrounds, rally to rally, putting himself at risk, the Secret Service is flying dozens of agents to Disney World for an LGBTQ summit? This is the same agency that complained they didn't have enough money and resources to protect Trump. But now they're splurging on DEI trips. Meet and greets with Mickey Mouse are more important than protecting Trump's life. We reached out to the Secret Service, never heard back.
And this is the problem with the Secret Service right now, John.
2 months since Trump was almost assassinated on the Secret Service's
with
watch.
the Secret Service, DEI trips. And like Jesse said, we have the presidential election looming. President Trump has already had 2 attempts on his life now, and they're going to Disney World. Unbelievable.
I mean, you said it. Usually you see like somebody wins the Super Bowl, and then what does Disney World pay them to say? We're going to Disney World. In this case, they absolutely have failed. It's like coming in last place in the NFL, having the lowest winning percentage, and then being the guy that gets paid to say, we're going to Disney World. It's horrendous. And not only is it just going to Disney World as celebrating your failures, but what are you doing at an LGBTQ rally or a convention? Shouldn't you be at a convention that teaches you how to protect the president of the United States, who has suffered through 2 assassination attempts? You would think that they would put aside all this BS, all of this waste, and just focus on what their core responsibility is. And the fact that they can't do that just shows that they're more political than they pretend to be. They are a DEI circus right now. That's why they have people on the team that can't holster their weapons, people on the team that hesitate when the shots are firing, people on the team who allow snipers to scale buildings and climb on a roof and take shots at the president, winging him in the air. These things are happening because they're spending their time at a LGBTQ rally or convention instead of focusing on what their job is, to protect a man with their life, literally. It's just an absolute shame. And the director of the Secret Service should be fired. The assistant super director, everybody all the way down the line, including the people who attend this event, should just be fired and removed from the memory of the Secret Service.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, John. And I'm trying to look up right now. Ronald Rowe Jr. That is who's running the Secret Service right now. Ronald Rowe Jr., who replaced Cheadle. And looks like it's just more of the same. You know what I mean? Because you're exactly right.
Cheadle was bad enough.
Yeah.
Cheadle was bad enough, right? And now you get a guy who's basically saying, this is the second attempt, and now they've, like we're going to talk about later in the show, that there's more out there.
Yeah.
There's more on the burner.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it on Unsanctioned America, that what they're doing is not only, even if it's a byproduct of their incompetence, they're creating an environment that is spurring up, kicking up dust and confusion, and creating a fog of war, if you will, that creates more opportunities for crazy people with blue hair cutting their genitals off to commit another assassination attempt. I mean, it's mind-boggling. It's like we're watching a movie right now. We're not even looking at real life. Right now, we're so deep in the matrix that it's like a glitch in the system. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no doubt, John, no doubt. And just like you just said, it takes a congressman to let you know what's going on. And our own Representative Matt Gaetz is saying that the DHS knows existence of 5 assassination teams here in the U.S. targeting President Trump. Here he is.
And I'll break a little news for you. I had a senior official from the Department of Homeland Security in my office before the second assassination attempt, saying that what he has assessed is that there are 5 known assassination teams in the United States, 3 inspired by other governments, 2 that are here that are known domestic assassination teams. And with that, this individual was coming to me concerned that the force protection around President Trump, even prior to that second assassination attempt, was not sufficient for what it needed to be. And the coordination at that level, at the dignitary protection level, is like the bare minimum that we have to do to keep our presidents, our presidential candidates safe while they're on the trail.
So there are 5, I just want to follow up, 5 assassination teams. Are they all targeting Trump? Is it other officials?
Yes. No, I should have been clear about that. 5 teams that we know are targeting Trump. And so that raises real questions about why certain teams were being pulled off of the Trump detail and put on, for example, the Jill Biden detail. Now, we don't want anything bad to happen to Jill Biden, but at the same time, the threat envelope for her was substantially different than the threat envelope around President Trump, and it would not have necessitated pulling assets away from the Trump detail for the Jill Biden detail or the John Bolton detail or any other details that were beefed up. At the same time, the requests from the Trump detail and from the Trump campaign for more security were going unanswered.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, what is going on? They're taking more security detail. He's the president of the United States right now, Joe Biden, right? He doesn't know it. Don't tell him. But he's the president of the United States. He's got more security, probably 10 times the amount of security, rightly so, than Donald Trump has. And they're going to take more people and put it on Biden security. If they want to protect Joe Biden, what they'll do is pad the stairs around him. They'll pad every sharp corner around now. They'll make it like a baby-proofing situation. That's how you protect Joe Biden.
Well, that's what they did, right, John? That's what they did.
Yeah, you have people flinging bullets at Donald Trump, and they reject an increase in security for Donald Trump after he got shot. It's not before even. This is not theory any longer. He got shot, and they're refusing to increase the security detail so that they can have somebody go and put a padded room in the middle of the White House so that Joe Biden doesn't hurt himself. Come on. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is, John. And, we talked about this on the America show, that the feds went ahead and released the manifesto of this last shooter. saying that he put a $150,000 bounty on Trump's head. And the more that people say this is a conspiracy, that they want President Trump gone, the more things come out that make it look like it's not a conspiracy at all.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. I mean, you can pretend, but you're making it very obvious. You can pretend that people that have these conspiracy theories are crazy, but the fact is, you have to question. You have to question.
Yeah. So we did have Hurricane Helene come through Florida, John. We didn't really get hit by it too hard, but our friends in the northern part of the state did, and other states beyond Florida did, surprisingly. But
yeah, they're getting hit pretty hard.
But wouldn't you know that our Democrats here in Florida, instead of trying to help people through the hurricane, they were busy promoting their own candidates. Their own candidates' written climate change articles as the hurricane approached. It's just unbelievable. There's a hurricane. That's not Hurricane Helene, but it is a hurricane. This is, as the northwestern part of Florida braced for Hurricane Helene, the Democratic Environmental Caucus sent out articles written by Florida candidates in the upcoming election talking about climate change. An email obtained by Florida's Voice shows the group promoting hurricane articles by Green candidates that were published on Daily Kos. And we do have what this list looked like. Here it is. Daily Kos articles, recommendations, help our Green candidates get votes. And this here was for fundraising, John, if you could believe it, during a hurricane.
This is insanity. This is insanity. You have a tragedy, right? More than 100 people have died in this hurricane. More than 100 people have died. And what do the Democrats do? Instead of having people send their resources to go help the 100 people that are died, missing, injured, they ask for campaign contributions.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, what do they do? It's the same thing they did like during a shooting. What do? They come and they try to raise money off of a shooting. They're absolutely disgusting. Just as a party, I mean, what would you expect? The biggest platform that they have is we hate Jesus Christ and we love to kill babies. Now, while people are suffering, send us money. I mean, what a way to wrap up a platform.
Yeah, and if the candidates that they're promoting are Rock Abu Jabare Jr. for CD12.
Good try, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. If you live in CD12, please do not vote for this individual. And Danica Fournier in HD83, if you live in HD83, do not vote for this individual. They were too busy trying to pad their campaign coffers while you were suffering and worried about this hurricane. So remember
that's
that.
just nuts.
Remember that when you go to the polls. Over in Broward County, John. Broward Republicans are endorsing a Bernie Sanders progressive in their race against Senator Jason Pizzo. Now, Jason Pizzo is a Democrat, but he's more of a centrist Democrat. But this guy that they're endorsing over here, I mean, look at this picture. That is Andrew Gillum.
Listen, that guy, I hope he washed his hands after that. But here's the funny thing. This is a far left guy. You say Bernie Sanders. Normally, that would be far enough, right? That everybody would like hold their fingers up in the shape of a cross when you said that, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Well, that's not enough now because now it's like you have to have blue hair, you have to be on hormone therapy, you have to have all kinds of things to think that the guy is too far to the left. You can't get any more left than Gillum, right? No. The guy does drugs in a room. We already know. I've said it 100 times on the show, but. Why are they supporting this guy? You have to ask yourself. There's so much confusion. This is the biggest problem with the Republican Party right here is they cannot get out of their own way. So in the story, it tells us that the chairwoman may have made this decision unilaterally. My speculation was that maybe the guy who's in the seat is establishment. Republicans do not like establishment people right now. Right? As soon as they realize, and the wool needs to be pulled over people's eyes. Almost all politicians are establishment politicians to some degree. And so, is it an anti-establishment thing? We don't know.
Well,
So
we kind of
we don't know
we
about
know
this
a
story,
little
but
bit. We know a little bit. So this guy, his name. Well, this is the official Broward Republican Party voter guide. All right, and it says here, federal offices, president, all the usual names, all the usual people you'd expect. Then you go down here, and it says Adianis Mohammed, and that's the guy we're talking about. So this guy right here, he goes by Andy Muhammad. We saw that picture. He was with Andrew Gillum, and they're promoting him because he filed as a Republican, even though he has a history of being a Democrat. This voter guide shows him, and this guy is a known anti-Semite. What else we got here?
all these things sound like a normal Democrat to me.
According to a member of the Broward County Republican Executive Committee who asked that her or his name be kept out of this article, the move to endorse Muhammad was allegedly made unilaterally by Chairman Chris Marino, like you said, John. And listen to this guy. This is what he thinks about America.
America run on Dunkin' Donuts. America run on hate. That's my statement. We run this country on hate.
Let's play that one more time, just in case you missed it.
America run on Dunkin' Donuts. America run on hate. That's my statement. We run this country on hate. The media.
We run this country on hate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this guy does sound like he hates somebody, right? To make a statement like that, it sounds like he hates Dunkin' Donuts. Sounds like he hates Americans. He probably hates that American flag on his lapel. I don't get where he's coming from. I'll never understand. I don't know where he's from. It doesn't matter where he's from. It sounds like he's from India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, right? If I had to guess just on his accent. In any one of those three cases, right? India being the only remotely principled place, but in India they have a caste system, right? Yeah. So let's say that he's from Pakistan. Pakistan is a joke. Pakistan is not a real democracy. Pakistan is a nightmare of a country, right? If I were to walk around with a cross around my neck, I could get stoned or hung in Pakistan, right? In India, that chances are that won't happen. But in India, they have a caste system. And if you're not to the higher caste, then you're untouchable. They have a caste called untouchable in India. So, I mean, these are what I don't know what he's talking about. There's nothing more hateful than somebody seeing someone as untouchable just because they're not in the same socioeconomic class as you are.
Well, John, I would say this. I mean, that caste system sounds like what we have here in Florida in our Republican Party.
Yeah, it does, actually. I mean, that's a good point, right? There's certainly problems in the Republican Party, and the Republican Party is, like I said, shoots itself in its foot. It has every advantage. When you have and here's the thing. If India, I hate to make an army thing out of this, but you have some guys that they could be like the best at everything, but you put them in a combat situation, and then they shrink and shrivel, and that happens. And that's kind of like what the Republican Party is doing. It's shrinking and shriveling when it has the perfect battlefield advantage. You have the Democrats coloring their hair blue and cutting their genitals off and taking hormone therapy and, sexually, genitally mutilating kids. What better position than to just clean the house? But they don't do it. Instead, what they do is they attack their own and because they don't want to give up power. That's just really disgusting. It's a terrible situation for the Republican Party. So, yeah, they are trying to create a caste system.
Yeah, and I'll show you this too, John. There's another picture of this guy. This is not AI. This isn't a fake picture. Here he is with Ilhan Omar. So, if there's any doubt of where this guy stands.
Well, she's one of the show's favorites, right?
Yeah. Right. So, come on. Broward County Republican Executive Committee, what are you doing? I understand you want to back anybody with an R next to their name. But you should know that there are people
Is
that
he
run
running
as
as an actual
Republicans that are
Republican?
not Republicans. He's running as a Republican. Yes.
I see how. So how can't you? Well, I mean, this is very strange. If he's, what can you expect? But the Republicans, I mean, look, the Republicans are trying to kick out people who are more grassroots aligned with Trump, but they wouldn't kick out this guy.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't make any
I mean,
sense.
think about it, John.
I mean,
We have a lot of these people that are Democrats running as Republicans.
we have a lot.
We had
Yeah.
one in HD 35 recently, not
Yeah.
too long ago. We have one currently in Osceola County, and I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to go there because I'm hoping this individual wins because the person that holds that seat needs to go. But, you know, we've seen case after case of this, but never have we seen the evidence so strong against this guy where, you know, you see him with Gilliam, you see him with Ilhan Omar, you hear his own words where he's saying that America runs on hate. Just please, you know what I mean? They should not be endorsing people.
He doesn't know America. Maybe his America in his eyes does, right? But that's his perception of, maybe it's a lot of more projection than reflection, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
I
Sure
don't
looks
know.
that way to me.
That's not something that an American says or a Republican should say.
No, not ever. Not ever. So, shame on Broward County, REC. Anyway, all right, let's move on. So, would you believe this, that the former opponent of Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna has been charged with threatening to hire a hit squad against her? Unbelievable, John. Here is the picture of this guy. He just got extradited from the Philippines. Real looker there. His name is William Braddock. He's 41 of St. Petersburg. He is accused of making the alleged threats on June 8th of 2021, including one where he threatened to call up my Russian-Ukrainian hit squad to take out his rival. Now, prosecutors did not outright name the victim, but at the time, he was running against fellow Republican Luna, and he was allegedly caught on audio calling the lawmaker a dead squirrel and an effing speed bump in the road. Nice guy. So Braddock later.
What is his problem?
Yeah, I don't know. He fled.
She's a great rep.
Yeah.
I mean, what is his problem? What kind of psycho? Thank God he doesn't. I mean, he sounds like somebody that would get endorsed by the party, I guess, you know. But I mean, what is his problem? Not that he was.
Well,
but, I mean,
he left the U.S. He fled to the Philippines. He was eventually extradited. He's been charged with the count of interstate transmission of a true threat to injure or another person. He made an appearance in a Los Angeles federal court on Thursday, and just the fact that he's making these threats against a female, a woman, obviously he's intimidated by her military record or whatever, but what a loser. What a loser.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty bad. It's horrendous.
Yeah. So, moving on from there.
Enjoy jail.
I'm wondering why he went to the Philippines.
Oh yeah, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, there's escaping justice and probably having a good time while doing it was his hope.
Yeah, exactly. All right, John. So the state party, they're allocating resources to Manatee after the suspensions to keep the county red. And if you didn't know, the grievance committee for the RPOF went ahead and suspended the entire Manatee County GOP. And now I guess they're going to allocate some resources. There's Manatee County, beautiful county. If you don't know where Manatee is, that is the Sarasota, Anna Maria Island area. Following this recent Republican Party suspension of the Manatee County Republican Executive Committee, the state party is allocating resources to the committee for them to maintain a strong, drama-free presence in the area ahead of the November elections. Earlier this month, party chairman Evan Power informed County REC Chair April Colbreth that the party's grievance committee had recommended the suspension, made official by vote of the party's executive board amid a slew of grievances, lawsuits, and police reports. Power was tasked with devising a turnaround plan that must be approved by the executive board to help grow the Manatee REC into a strong local party that can effectively elect Republicans. Acknowledging Manatee County's significance for Republican initiatives, The Florida GOP will establish a dedicated field office led by a field director who will oversee volunteers to boost turnout and support for President Trump and the entire Florida Republican ticket in the November 5th general election. And, you know, there's so many rumors, so many different things that you can pull from this. There's a lot going on in Manatee County, and we're going to discuss that on the next story. But, yeah, I think if the Republican Party had kept their nose out of Manatee County's REC and what happened there, because from my understanding, what happened there is that they got rid of a bunch of rhinos. And
Yeah, the party rebelled against itself, and they won a whole bunch of seats. They won, I guess, the state committee man seat and state committee woman seat, from what I understand, and then they didn't want them. So, you know, the party itself didn't want, you know, they didn't want them, so they kicked them out, and they disassembled the party, and now it's in the pieces that they left it in. But there's no question that the party would have had a strong Republican show up if they had just left it alone. But they disbanded it. And here's the thing: if they're going to disband it on some ground sent to a grievance committee, you would think that they would disband Osceola County's REC first, right? I mean, there's so much. I don't know what grievances have been filed, but I can guarantee you this: come the new year, I think that people are going to be, you know, like in the elections, come even in December, they're going to be filing some grievances against the party, and it's going to be all these issues that have happened here. It's just that the people who care about the party and care about the election outcomes don't want to disrupt that. But you can imagine the flood of complaints that are going to come after the election cycle.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. John, I just sent you something in Facebook Messenger. I want you to take a look at that real quick, if you could. Yeah. So
I don't know.
I'm going to see if I can pull this up on the show real quick and ask anybody who's watching the show, anybody that's listening, if they're getting
It looks
the same
okay to
message.
me, but it's funny.
This is from a share,
Yeah,
John.
so it looks-
This is from a share. So
Yeah.
let me see if I can pull this up real quick and bring this on, because this would not be the first time that Facebook has tried to downgrade the show in some way, some form.
Yeah, we get throttled often, and we get shadow banned essentially, and they reduce the ability of people to watch. So who knows? Right now, there's people watching. So I don't know. I wouldn't say it's our biggest night, but there's people.
Well, we are coming on at a night
We're just
that we normally
investigating.
don't.
We got some notifications that. Say
Here
again.
it is. This is what happened. Somebody that I shared this to sent this back to me. This is what happened when they tried to click on the link that I shared them.
Yeah.
So if you're out there watching,
So tell us what's
if
going on.
the show got shared to you and that you got that message, please let us know. Please let us know. You see anybody come?
All right. So what do we got next? So Manatee's a mess.
Manatee's a mess.
Yeah.
Manatee's a mess, and it goes even further than that, John. There's a question being asked: who is Kevin Kyle Kaczynski von Oswald the 17th? This is a persona that's
Wow. It must be royalty.
Yeah, right. This is a persona that's mocking Manatee County politicians, and this is a picture of Kevin Kyle Kaczynski. There he is. He's a Muppet.
Good-looking guy.
Yeah. So this blue furry plush puppet role-playing as a candidate for Manatee County Commission has irked local officials and candidates who are denouncing satirical videos and content posted by an online account named Kevin Kyle Kaczynski von Oswald the 17th in advance of a heated 2024 election. Since the online persona was created in April, von Oswald has been ruffling the feathers of top political officials and candidates with the attacks circulating on social media. So they sent him an email and they asked him some questions. Who is Kevin Kyle? That's a very philosophical question. This is him answering in the email. I am a puppet just like all of my competitors. I have a bunch of hands up my rear end, similar to my competitors. The only difference is the interests of the hands up mine are of the community. And I had heard that he had a YouTube channel. I tried to look it up. It looks like it's down or something. It's not there anymore. But his Instagram is up. And here's an example of what Kevin Kyle Kaczynski von Oswald the 17th has been doing in Manatee County.
In today's news, Anthony Pedicini sends out another fake mailer. Pedicini sends text messages with misinformation.
Anthony Pedicini sliding in the scene, got his little paws on a political machine, running shady deals with a race to the top. A gerbil in a suit, man, he just won't stop. With a twitch of his nose, he's cooking up schemes while munching on seeds. He's living out dreams. In the pet store, he's shine, but he's playing it slick. A corrupted little rodent, what a clever trick. Squeaking through the halls, he's got a plan, you see. This furry little schemer, he's as sly as can be. Oh, Anthony Pedicini, you tiptoe on lies. In a world of big politics, your fur never dries. With your beady little eyes, you're making moves right. But we know, Gerbil King, you just ain't that bright.
Rumors swirl as Pedicini seen holding hands with ultra-conservative Kevin Van Ostenbridge. Pedicini seen marching at Gay Pride Parade.
Store aisle, he should be on display. Instead he's spinning webs like it's some kind of play. Wheeling deals, he's squeaking like a boss. Every time he spins, you already know the cost. But his antics catch up like a great comedy. The voters are hip, oh they're savvy, you see. No more gerbil politics, they're ready to shout. Anthony, you're in too deep, there's no way out. He dreams of a mansion with a golden wheel, but this gerbil's got nothing left to conceal. Oh, Anthony Pedicini, you tiptoe on lies. In a world of big politics, your fur never dries. With your beady little eyes, you're making moves right. But we know, Gerbil King, you just ain't that bright.
In tonight's news, we cover the defamation lawsuit filed against Anthony Pedicini. Pedicini texts Commissioner during meeting directing how to vote on controversial rezoning.
Oh, Anthony Pedicini, you tiptoe on lies. In a world of big politics, your fur never dries. With your beady little eyes, you're making moves right. But we know, Gerbil King, you just ain't that bright. Oh, Anthony Pedicini, you tiptoe on lies. In a world of big politics, your fur never dries. With your beady little eyes, you're making moves right. But we know, Gerbil King, you just ain't that bright.
Manatee County. This has nothing to do with Democrats or Republicans. This has to do with corrupt developers weaponizing our government for their own personal gain with no regard for the quality of life of our residents.
Oh my God. I don't know what happened to John. He disappeared. Where'd you go, John? Alright, so we're waiting to get John back, but I can tell you I absolutely love this. This is, alright, there's John. He came back. I love this. This is amazing. I love creative stuff when it comes to politics and stuff like this. Chicken Ricky, for example, I thought that was amazing. This guy here, he is amazing. The things he's putting together. And he's calling out one of our favorite people, Anthony Pedicini. And he knows exactly what Pedicini is. So kudos to him. I hope we see some more from this guy. You there, John? I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to try and refresh John's mic real quick, and we'll see if he comes back. Anyway. Anyway, yeah, all right, so he's going to try and come back in. But as we know, Anthony Pedicini has had his hands in our local elections here. He has sent out dirty mailers, attack mailers against Will Fonseca, against Chris Robertson in the mayor's race back in 2020. This guy is just a terrible, terrible human being. Anybody who pays him money to go ahead and do the dirt for him, you should not vote for that individual. So, and, you know, the reason why Manatee County, at least the way I see it, Manatee County is so involved and all right, John's coming back. Here we go, I think. All right, it should take a second, but he should be back. Manatee County is, like I said, Sarasota and Anna Marie Island. This is a very wealthy area. There's a lot of rich people that live down there. And a lot of developers are coming into that area trying to develop things in that area. Like they want beachfront condos, more of them, more commercial development near or around those beaches. And that is a very pristine area. It's very clean, it's very untouched, and like I said, there's a lot of wealthy people there. So wealthy people do not want this area mucked up and destroyed or to become a tourist attraction. So yes, they're coming out in full force. I think that's why Manatee County is the center of this war against between the Republican Party and grassroots conservatives. John, are you there? Can you hear me? All right, he's there, but he can't hear me, I don't think. Let me see if I can reset his audio. Are you there, John? John, let me send him a message and he can speak because we can hear him. He just can't hear me, I guess. Yeah, Pedicini is a scumbag. Yes, I see you and I can hear you. There we go. Awkward silence, something else that new or not so new to Unsanctioned Florida. You don't see the share? All right. So while we work on this, I'm going to cut to the commercial. Before we go to Osceola County, we have this important word from Jim Chow's campaign.
Did you know? Did you know Mary Jane Arrington, supervisor of elections this past year, violated state law by printing party affiliation on absentee ballot envelopes? She said it was an honest mistake that the printer made.
That's not the whole story.
Correct. That's not the whole story. What's more interesting is the rest of the story. The printer told Channel 9 that what Mary Jane Arrington said was false, and that they printed exactly what was sent to them. Also, this isn't the first time Mary Jane Arrington has done this. She did this for the prior election. You'd think there would be some serious consequences, but they were extremely minimal. She had to submit a written plan how she would do better. Why more wasn't done, we'll never know, especially with all she has done wrong, and believe me, we will discuss these issues. This isn't meant to upset you, it's meant to inform you, because the more you know, the better informed you are when you cast your vote this November.
Come on, guys.
All right, so we are back. John, you can speak. We do hear you. While we try to get John straightened out, he is there. He just can't hear me for whatever reason. Let me see if I change a setting here, if he can hear me. You hear me now, John? Nope. All right.
All right, so I think I'm on a delay here. I'm seeing I cannot hear you at all, and I don't know where we're at. I just saw that the gym commercial came on, so I'm assuming that's where we're at.
Yeah. We went ahead and skipped over some of the stuff.
So I don't know how we're gonna do this separately. I don't hear anything at all. Everything is gone for me.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so starting off Osceola County, John, even though you don't hear me, changes are coming to downtown Kissimmee roundabout 2025, and that is a play on that from the Osceola News Gazette. But anyway, this is a look at what is going to happen to downtown Kissimmee and the plan they have to rework the roads. At an Osceola County Chamber-sponsored Downtown Kissimmee update last week, the city and its traffic engineering consultant, ACOM, revealed its plan to try and improve things for all of those groups. The Connect Kissimmee project has the go-ahead from the City Commission, and the idea is to transform the stretch from John Young Parkway to Neptune Road and give it an identity. That would start with a Kissimmee Gateway Arch, much like the one at Main and Vine Streets, being installed at John Young Parkway and Emmett Street. Moving east, the traffic light at Emmett and Ruby Patrick Street near Kissimmee Police Department would be replaced by a roundabout. In order to calm traffic on Emmett and Broadway, tabled intersections would be installed at a number of cross streets such as Dillingham, Clyde, Rose Streets, Orlando Avenue, Darlington, Monument, Dakin, Sproul, Park, Lake, and Orange Streets. That would expand on and remove the speed humps currently found at Verona, Darlington, and Sproul Street. Those tabletops would serve to slow traffic to help walkers and bikers be more safe. Will feature brick pavers to enhance the look. And, Kissimmee, their lakefront has brick pavers. They did a great job with that. City of St. Cloud, not so much. So when they want to install brick pavers in this new project, I have a feeling they're going to do very well with it and not have the problems. And in comparison, I kind of looked this up. This project, phase one of the project is going to cost $7,894,000. They're going to get federal funding of $5,572,000, and local funding will come in at $2,322,000. Estimated completion is 2027. Phase two of this project is going to cost $6,859,000. Federal funding is going to be around $6,290,000. Locally funded at $568,000. Estimated completion 2029. So a lot of this is coming from federal funding. Only about 11 million, a little plus or minus, plus 11 million plus coming in local funding. It seems like a pretty good deal. It's absolutely less than the city of St. Cloud spent on their downtown project, John. So there you go.
Yeah, Tom, the funny thing about this is kind of what you mentioned, in my opinion. Why is the city of Kissimmee so much more successful in delivering a project in its downtown than St. Cloud? And I mean, of course, it hasn't happened yet, so we don't know how successful or not successful it's going to be, but we all know it's going to be better than the Bricks project in St. Cloud. I mean, that was a disaster, unmitigated disaster also. The cost comparison between the two projects is mind-boggling. $20 million. Here they're adding rotundas. It's a change in the scape and look of the downtown through this project on a street. In St. Cloud, they were just repaving the road with bricks. And that was more, what was it, $20 million?
$20 million.
And then they messed it up, and now they had to repave it. Who knows how much that was going to cost at the end? I don't remember. But it was $20 million just for the bricks. Then they had to redo the whole road. I mean, talk about an injustice for the people of St. Cloud. It goes to show that, a leadership does make a difference in this situation. And Kissimmee, I don't know how they pulled it off, but, their city manager, if you drive downtown, you don't break your back, right? So it's a huge disparity between how these two cities are run.
Yeah, and ain't that the truth,
also,
John?
you can drink water from downtown Kissimmee.
Yes.
You can't drink water in downtown St. Cloud.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
The cities are just two different animals.
Yeah, it's the truth. And Mike Steigerwald has done a great job in Kissimmee. I have all faith and confidence, and I think you base it off track record, John. You see the lakefront in Kissimmee and their brick pavers. You don't break your back going down that road. But in St. Cloud, you would.
It's not personal, right?
No.
I love to complain about Kissimmee just like I complain about everything else.
No.
But the bottom line is you can't complain about Kissimmee the way that you can complain about St. Cloud.
Yeah.
In St. Cloud, you don't have clean water. What are we in Africa? You don't have clean water, clean running water. I mean, that's the most basic thing ever. What are they going to have next? Rolling blackouts?
Yeah.
I mean, what is next? So you have crappy roads the way that you do in a third world country. You have no clean drinking water the way that you have in a third world country. What comes next? I mean, what are the police going to kick down doors and steal your babies and throw them in a child army? That's what they do in Africa. I mean, they might as well do that. That's the next step for St. Cloud. I mean, they really need to get their stuff together and start protecting the just in general, the livelihood, the peace of mind of the citizens of St. Cloud.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit more about St. Cloud coming up later on because what the city of Kissimmee is doing here actually benefits the residents, it benefits the city. It's going to make things a lot easier on the residents that travel through those areas. But when we get to St. Cloud, they're doing the exact opposite. But anyway, before we get to that, let's hit up
with
this
no
story.
lights.
Yeah. So we have this story here, and it's a sad story, but oops, wrong picture. All right, so we're getting to that picture. But the headline is Kristen Arrington holds a 17-point lead for that open Senate seat 25 that you were running for, John. It's going to end up being Jose Martinez and Kristen Arrington. There they are after their debate. And Impact Research. So I don't know how much stock you could put in this poll, since Impact Research, the same pollster that Kamala Harris's presidential campaign is using, is the one showing a 52% of District 25 voters plan to vote for Arrington in the fall. By comparison, just 37% plan to back Jose Martinez. That puts her lead outside the poll's 4.9 percentage point margin of error. That's good news 2 years for the Democrats after a majority of voters in the state backed Ron DeSantis' re-election, while Democrat Senator Victor Torres also secured re-election. His 5 percentage point margin over Republican Peter Vivaldi left Republicans openly wondering if the seat may be open to a flip in coming elections. And no, it wasn't left openly wondering. It definitely was open to be flipped and could be flipped. But Representative Kristen Arrington is the clear favorite to win this general election. Outside of the partisan lean of the seat, she outclasses Jose Martinez in overall name ID, popularity, and fundraising. That was Impact Research's representative that had that quote that said that. And I don't know. I'm hoping for Jose. I want him to win. I want a Republican to win this seat. And who knows? Maybe if you had a different pollster come in there, you might get a different number. But I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of Jose or a lot going on in that race right now. What do you think, John?
I don't think that a pollster is going to change the outcome of a race. Certainly, I think that another pollster might have even worse numbers. To me, it surprises me that the numbers are that close. In fact, which is not close at all. The fact is that Jose Martinez, I haven't seen him campaigning that much. I don't see that much of, what they're doing. He campaigned non-existently in the primary race, but the swamp, Anthony Pedicini, people like that, the swamp spent more money to defeat me in the primary than they are spending in his race to beat Kristen Arrington, which all along, the whole reason to prevent me from winning my primary was to prevent anyone from disrupting the plan that they had, which was for Arrington to be anointed to that seat and assume that seat and be able to control the development and protect the apparatus that they have in place here in Osceola County. That was the only design. The funding from the Republican Party in the Senate Majority Committee has dried up for him. He has no chance of winning. The campaign is weak. It makes me question the intention of everyone involved in this race, because absolutely right. The governor himself said, why are we leaving this race on the table? And now not only did they leave it on the table, the plate was set and they swept it off the top of the table and gave it to the dog on the ground, who's Kristen Arrington. It's absolutely disgusting. It's a debacle by the Republican Party. There's no reason for them to have done this. It just raises all kinds of questions. There's no. We all knew. Everyone knew. Like you all knew. Everyone knew. I haven't met a Jose Martinez voter who actually thought that he could actually beat Kristen Arrington. I wish he would win also. He's not Jose. He's not a bad guy. He's not a terrible guy. He's a good person, and I wish that he would win. But there's no chance, and everyone knew that from the very beginning. The people who funded his campaign knew that from the very beginning, and the reason that they funded his campaign was so that he would lose to Kristen Arrington, because Kristen Arrington protects the money machine that's going on that is winning all of these dirty politician seats. So there's only one way that Jose could have ever won this race, and that is if he becomes a dirty politician himself. Then they wanted Jose more than they wanted Kristen Arrington, and that's just not the case. Why? Because you can trust 100% that Kristen Arrington is going to be the corrupt person she and her family have always been, and you can't create that kind of trust with a dirty apparatus fast enough, to save that race for him. So there's no way. I mean, and the bottom line is, this Republican spent more money attacking the other Republican than he has spent. What did they do? They walked out of that debate that they had on Channel 2 holding hands, and then he hasn't touched her. And you can't, listen, it's such an anti-American race, in my opinion. American races are not about, fixing each other's ties and so on. It's about a debate and serving the people. We have come far away from the patriots of the revolution, and now we're in the, just weak races of gaslighting. Whoever's the best gaslighter is who wins races now, and that's basically the people who are better funded by the dirty establishment in Tallahassee in this case. So it's a terrible situation, and the table was set in advance of the race actually happening, and that's just sad. It's sad for the people of Osceola County.
Yeah, John. I was gonna say, early on in your primary with Jose, this Keep Florida Great PAC was sending out these mailers for Jose. Very nice mailers. Look at that, full page, 8.5 by 11, and this one here. But they're not from the campaign. These are from the Keep Florida Great PAC, who I believe was William Stafford Jones, I think, was running that PAC. They were sending out these mailers. I haven't seen a mailer from Jose himself, like from his campaign. And I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to start hitting hard. I know he's got the money to do it. Otherwise, this is lost. It's a lost race. So, anyway, let's move on from there. John, you still hear me?
Yeah, but we all knew all along, Tom, that he wasn't going to put his own money into the race. That was a big facade. Listen, he was making promises that he never intended on keeping, which was, I'm going to self-fund. I don't need anybody's money. I'm going to self-fund. Well, where the heck is that money now? He should be spending it now. You know, the mail absentee ballots are coming out in a week. And it's too late. What are you going to do then? They're going to have the ballots in their hands. You're not going to reach out to the voters. If he had been willing to spend the money, he should have spent it. He should have fought. He should have built a coalition. He should have reached out to all the local Republicans. He should have said, I need to get out the vote. We need to move hard. We need to do this. We need to get all this. But they didn't do anything. You know, they didn't really do anything. They didn't build a coalition. They took the establishment people. They took the people who are corrupt in the Republican Party. They ran with that. He knew that he was getting support. And the support, it was just anti-John support. It wasn't like pro-Jose, right? It was just anti-John support. People like the Fred Hawkins and the Mike Horners and the Ricky Booths and all those people. And then they left them high and dry anyways. And now the money's not coming into the campaign to do anything. And it's going to happen and it's going to be gone and he's going to get blown out. They might make the numbers, you know, because in Osceola, I think that they have like 5,000 votes in the air. But, you know, this is a big race and they make it look a little bit closer than it should be just so that you can save face. And, you know, it's manufactured.
Well,
you know,
that's
it's
the thing.
choreographed.
You know, you were talking about
and
that,
that's
John.
what the shame is. It's not the shame. Anybody winning and losing. This is America. You're not entitled to anything, right? You win or you lose, and that's it. But Americans are entitled, absolutely entitled, to a free and fair election, and that's what we're being robbed by these dirty politicians and these lobbyists like Mike Horner and all these people who are getting involved and they hide in the shadows and they're all gerbil kings and dukes and princes, you know, like Pedicini, and those are the people that are messing up the elections, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree, John, and I'll just say this, you know. Keep Florida Great Pack, which I believe was William Stafford Jones. I don't know for certain. I could look it up real quick, but I'm not going to do that. I don't know if Jose thought they were going to keep sending these mailers for him. But they're not. They're not. Like you said, it was all in an effort to defeat you. They sent these mailers out, and now they're done. You know, Jose needs to pick this up by the reins and run with it. He has some nice new signs. They look great. I've seen them out there. He did invite me to an event he was doing. I guess it was like a fundraiser or something. I couldn't make it. I think we're both pulling for him. We want him to win. It's just whether or not it's going to happen. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we'll move on from this. We'll start off with our St. Cloud stories, and this is the first one. St. Cloud needs a new fire.
You know, it takes more than money to win a race, unless you have so much money that you don't need anybody else and you're willing to spend it. So yeah. It's a little late. There's a slight delay, right?
Yeah.
So,
we have a little bit of a delay between the two of us, but we do hear each other, which is good. I hear him in real time. He hears me 8 seconds, I think, behind or something like that. But anyway, all right. So moving on. We're going to move on. St. Cloud needs new fire public safety facilities. The question is, how are they going to pay for it? Well, that was answered at the last city council meeting. They're going to pay for it by borrowing the money. They're going to borrow $90 million from the Florida Local Finance Commission to pay for this new public safety complex, as well as new fire headquarters, 3 new fire stations, and a ballpark. The 1% sales tax, we're going to be using some of that fund to fund the debt. We're not necessarily putting it back on our community. Obviously, we just saw the interest rates are starting to fall. That's fantastic for us. We can potentially renegotiate or refinance our debt, bringing it down even further and lower our debt payments. That's from Police Chief Gerke that's saying that. Some residents who live nearby say they're happy that the complex is being created instead of more housing developments. Gerke said they're coming up with designs and renderings of what the facility could look like right now. He said the first phase of building the complex could cost around $30 million. And I know the police department needed this public safety complex. I know the fire department needed it. And the question is, where were you going to get the money? If they had held on to the water utility instead of selling it off to Toho, they might have been able to come up with the money like that. Now we're going to worry about borrowing this $90 million and how we're going to pay it back. I'm going to tell you how they're going to pay it back. They're going to pay it back with ad valorem tax money from new residents that are popping up in St. Cloud. And if you want to know what I'm talking about Waterland development that's coming in down Canoe Creek Road, which is almost the size of a city. Sunbridge, when that gets annexed into the city, and I think it already is, most of it anyway. All the annexations that are coming in, all those people are going to have to pay ad valorem, and that's how it's going to come back. So not necessarily it's coming on the back of the citizens, but it will, absolutely.
Well, at the end of the day, cities don't have any means of generating revenue aside from the backs of the citizens. All they can do is collect taxes, right? Yeah. Now, it's very rare that you get something in return for your taxes, right? Normally, it's just like, oh, city needs to be run. Here's my taxes. But they did have Toho. They did have the water utility, and that generated revenue that people were getting. Now, of course, you still were getting nothing for your money because they still get brown water out of their tap. But supposedly you get a service, you pay a fee, okay, and they were generating revenue from it. It does seem short-sighted. Now they needed this $90 million facility. It makes sense. Everybody's clamoring that they need more services from our municipalities, and they do. That's obvious because of the growth. And now they're borrowing. I mean, so here's what I would say to the citizen. Pay attention to the process of procurement in these during this process, because that's where I would worry. That's where I would worry that you're going to see. Look at another calf cart. The building's going to be lopsided. It's going to look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and then they're going to complain, and everybody's going to laugh, and and then they're all going to look, and then they're going to let the company get away with it because somebody's granddaddy got the money for it. And, and nobody wants to make them pay for it, and so on and so forth. And, so we'll just keep the Leaning Tower of Pisa. No, forget it. Demolish the building, and then let's start over. Let's demo this and, whatever. Just like they did the road, right? Just like they did the bricks. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't trust any big infrastructure move right now with the city. I don't know what the problem is, right? Let's just imagine it's not the councilman. Let's say that the councilmen are great. Let's say that all 5 of them are engineers by trade. All 5 of them have a master's degree in economics. All 5 of them are the greatest architects. They've all come from a background of building the pyramids of Giza. Well, then there's something wrong, and they need to figure out what's wrong with the city that they can't complete without destroying more property, without hurting the citizens of St. Cloud. What is the problem? And they need to find it. They need to get rid of it, because that cancer it's not a benign thing. This is, it's malignant, and they need to get rid of it. They need to cut it out. Whatever the problem is at St. Cloud, so that they can actually spend $1 and not cost them 10 at the end of the day. They need to figure that out, and they need to fix the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And this will just tell you where the city of St. Cloud's priorities are. All right. They sought state funding for this seaplane base, right? This pie-in-the-sky idea that they wanted this seaplane base. When they knew, and this isn't anything new, John, that they needed this public safety complex. This has been talked about for a very long time, at least as long as I've been involved in local politics here in St. Cloud. They've been talking about this public safety complex.
They should have asked for the money. Man, you're 100% right. They should have asked for the money from the state for this instead of the seaplane base that they don't absolutely need.
Yeah. And Governor DeSantis knew that.
100%. It's like, what are you thinking? What is it that you guys are bringing in on those seaplanes? Bales of what?
Yeah.
That you needed, that you put that on the governor's request on your wish list, and not the safety of the citizens of St. Cloud, or a clean drinking water for that matter.
Yeah. Yeah,
you're 100% right.
The priorities aren't
there.
Something
else that's funny, Tom, is that they could actually, what they're going to do is they're going to ask for that money for the seaplane base again anyways.
Yeah.
They're just going to wait for the gubernatorial race, and then they know who's going to win or who's going to run, and they're already making deals, just like they did with DeSantis to save Fred Hawkins' job and to get him that job over there as the president of whatever school. right? So those connections that they use to save his skin and to save my corner and to spend hundreds of $1,000s against me in my race, they're going to send that money to the governor, to the new incoming governor, so that he does not veto it, right? And that's what they're going to hope.
Yeah.
Except that new governor is going to be Byron Donalds, or it's going to be Matt Gaetz, and I don't think that those guys are going to be as. I think that those guys are far more square and honest, and they might see it as for what it is, and they also might see these people for what they are. You know, at least that's my hope. That's my dream come true, right? Is that Byron Donalds gets elected governor, and he's like, "What? No, you guys aren't getting millions of dollars, but you are going to jail." You know, what a dream come true that would be.
Yeah, I think their hope is that Wilton Simpson is running for governor, and he'll be the next governor of Florida, and that could be probably one of the worst things that could happen. Is if we got Wilton Simpson, you know. But anyway, their priorities.
I know they want that.
Yeah, they do want that.
I know that's who they want. I think that that's one of the people that they want. Ricky Booth wants to run for agricultural commissioner, right? The commissioner of agriculture, right? So that he can take a professional picture with a hat on, a cowboy hat on, even though he's probably wearing pink underpants. You know, I think that that's what he wants.
Well, Ramsey wears
but
the hat.
Who knows how it's going to play out? I don't think that Simpson, even though he's a money machine, I don't think that he's going to beat a Byron Donalds.
No.
You know, but we never know what's going to happen.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. All right, John. So Osceola County, they are putting.
At least you hope, but you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Osceola County is putting parts of Heritage Park property up for sale. Now, Channel 9 originally reported this story. They got it wrong because they said that all of Heritage Park was up for sale. That is not the case, though. But this is the case. After 3 failed attempts to entice hotel developers to Osceola Heritage Park, county leaders are taking a whole new approach. This time they're going big, offering 251 acres of property in and around the park for sale or lease to a master developer who will complete the vision for a true mixed-use sports and entertainment district. At least this is what they want. The county published a request for letters of interest for a development partner with the financial capability and experience to develop the OHP campus and operate it as a destination anchored by the existing venues, including the Silver Spurs Arena, Event Center, and Osceola County Stadium. The existing venues are not part of the offering, but it does include the 41-acre former Johnson University campus on Bill Beck Boulevard that the county acquired back in June for $28 million. This is the 4th time in 8 years the county is offering land at OHP for development. The first request in 2016 garnered just 1 response, and the county elected not to negotiate with that developer. The county received 3 bids when it reissued the solicitation in 2019 and gave the highest scores to the team led by Riviera Point. Negotiations kicked off later that year, but stalled over 2020 and 2021 due to the coronavirus and the death of County Planning Director Kerry Godwin. The firms resumed negotiations in early 2022 and submitted a proposed developer agreement in the spring, but their plan included retail and restaurant uses, which weren't a part of the original solicitation. So the county issued a 3rd solicitation that allowed a mix of uses, but Riviera Point chose not to respond. So that's the saga of what's going on here. It's just crazy. So after 3 failed attempts, anyway, no, that's the same one. I don't know why that came back up. Anyway, it just shows they dropped the ball with this developer already. They already had this nailed down, but they didn't include the uses, and now they're including it all. They're trying to make this a destination because really you have big events that happen here. You have the Osceola Magic plays there now. You have the Mecum Auto Auctions, which are huge, but really you don't have much around that area. I mean, you have some rundown hotels, you have some apartments, not really a nice restaurant to speak of. I mean, you're going to have a Texas Roadhouse soon around that area, and you have a Miller's Ale House, which is much too small for what comes in that area. I mean, that place would fill up in a second, and there's nothing else to go to unless you go further into Kissimmee or down into St. Cloud. It's going to be interesting what happens here, what developers do come in and what they build around this area.
You know, Tom, what's funny about this project is that you have three competing entities. You have the city of Kissimmee, what it's doing in its downtown. You have the city of St. Cloud, what it's trying to do in its downtown, terribly, but trying nonetheless, right? And that has advantages already. And then you have the county, which is competing with its two lower municipalities. And they're all trying to create these spaces of like, bring the money, attract people. And that's all good. And I actually think that this idea would be okay. I am not a fan of the county buying Johnson University, this campus, right, which is right next to the school district. It's not the county's job to do that. It's private developers, their job to see the future in something and decide what they're going to do with it. That works so much better. And you can see that the county has tried 4 times in 8 years, what the article said. Why has it failed every time? What is it going to take for the county commissioners to realize that the nasty smell in the room that's causing this to fail is them? They're the problem. Just allow private industry to do what it does best. If you have me, if I have millions of dollars and I see, you know what, I'm going to buy that Johnson University. The campus was gorgeous. That was a beautiful place, a million different things. But the county tries to control everything. And why? Because these are super corrupt politicians, and they're probably going to make money off of these deals. It's the same with Cheryl Grebe being the realtor for that transaction at the old Kmart, right? Yeah. It's the same thing as Cheryl Grebe selling $150,000 or something like that for $500,000 to the county, for example. So these are the reasons why they get involved, and these are the reasons that private developers don't like to be involved, because these private developers are at this level. These are pros at making money, making good projects that make people happy and successful and have a high-quality product. The county commissioners are down here. Brandon Arrington is a failed actor trying to play God in the county of Osceola. It's not going to work well. You know, that's not going to work. That's not going to turn out well. And so these developers come in and they gotta force to be nice to Brandon Arrington or to, you know, do what he wants. Cheryl Grebe just put a giant statue of a gay fish in one of our parks. These people can't be trusted to do the right thing.
Nope.
So, you know, you have to, if you want these things to be successful, I think it's a good idea. A big giant thing there that allows us to make use of our great county, that makes use of this development. Okay, I like it out of the county's hands because the county only makes disasters. It's the same as asking the city of St. Cloud to build a paver road somewhere. You don't want to do it. It's just not smart. So let's let the private industry work itself out and you get out of the way. And the only reason that they have control over it is, like I said, number one, they make money for themselves. Watch Brandon's daddy get the contracts for any development or something like that, right? Or watch that guy who has all these apartment units and he gets all this low-income housing projects and he gets the county to pay for it somehow in some way, and then they make millions of dollars doing that stuff. Watch them benefit from it instead of the people of St. Cloud or Kissimmee or Osceola County. Those people don't benefit. Reason number two is because when the county has control of it, they get to pick the winners and the losers. And that's why they get to stay in office, because they're picking winners and losers all the time. And that is even more powerful than them getting money. They get to keep their job by picking the winners and the losers. And those winners and losers, the winners specifically, are the ones that understand that kickbacks make people happy. And they keep politicians happy. And they keep politicians picking them over and over again. And it's unjust. At its core, it's not the way we're supposed to be doing it. So those are my thoughts on it. And that's why, I would never vote for what Republican or Democrat or whatever. If you corrupt like this, I can never support you.
Yeah. And, I'm interested.
And that's why I can never support the county being involved in this.
Yeah. I'm interested to see who picks up these contracts.
And that's why Neo City is such a failure, by the way.
This.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's the track record you have right there is Neo City. Neo City is, in my eyes, an ultimate failure. It hasn't accomplished any of the things that it was intended to accomplish. Don't see it accomplishing any of those things anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. They haven't even finished Neo City, right? Neo City's a disaster of ways. It's like if you started building a robot, all you have nothing but wires hanging out of a body, no head. You know, that's exactly what they have at Neo City is a disaster. And they spent so much money doing it, and they get nothing to show for it. Now they're going to go on to another project number 2? I mean, no. The county, we should be out there with pitches and, torches and pitchforks. You know, like, what is this failed act? This failed actor cannot handle the job. That's clear, right? No. So, I mean, all these people, all these elected politicians in Osceola County, when you look at them, they have one thing in common. They're morons. I hate to say it like that. I hate to be like plain, speaker like that, but they're all morons. You look at them, right? Like if you talk to them, have a conversation with them, they're all morons, okay? And number 2, they have no background in doing anything successfully. You have Roach Motel owners, failed actors. It's a joke. It's a joke. You have people that have no careers, no sense of accomplishment. They don't know what success looks like. They have no record of being successful, right? But the only thing that they have is Ricky Booth has a silver spoon in his mouth from his daddy and granddaddy and so on, and was born into it like an aristocrat. Then you have people that are willing to sell their soul, right? People who are willing to, eat live babies and stuff in order to get into that position. Well, that when you get that kind of people in here, the private industry doesn't want to be involved. That's why Neo City's a failure. That's why this will be a failure if the county's involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I think it's a good idea. I don't know who came up with it. I'm sure it wasn't them. It's too good of an idea for them to come up with. So, but if anybody can destroy it, they can.
It might have been the representatives from the Osceola Magic or the Rosens, because they're good at developing things, and then we know that they've gotten their hands involved in Osceola County. So
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. 100%.
Yeah. So talking about failures, John.
Imagine a Rosen Hotel. That's you know what? I bet you that's exactly who's thinking. There's somebody else, somebody who's thinking of this. They're doing the thinking. It's not the county commission.
No.
It's not the county commission.
No.
It's not Don Fisher.
No.
I mean, Don Fisher probably, I don't know that Don Fisher could take care of a fish bowl with one fish in it. I think that's beyond his capacity to handle. Don Fisher could not take care of a two-legged dog. I mean, it's just too much for him to handle. He's proven time and time again that it's beyond his capacity to make anything successful,
It's
aside from keeping his own job.
It's amazing
I don't know how he does
that he is the highest paid
Who knows
man
what happens
in
behind those
Osceola
closed door meetings between him and the county commissioners, but he must be good at that.
Yeah. All right, John. So speaking of failures, here is one that's coming. It's on the way. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, this popped up on Facebook recently. It said, "My friend got this letter in the mail. What is this from the city of St. Cloud? The city of St. Cloud is notifying you of an important update to the city's future land use map, a key component of our comprehensive plan. Your property has been identified as part of an area that will undergo a change in its future land use designation. This update is intended to better align the future land use map with the latest goals, objectives, and policies of our comprehensive plan to ensure our planning efforts meet current and future development needs." Attached to this Facebook post was a picture of the future land use map that's coming up that they just approved. Here it is. As you can see, now if you've seen the old map, all right, you can automatically, and if you're used to looking at these things, you can automatically see the big change here, okay? But just so you know, the key to the map, the red colors are commercial. The blue colors are public, so that's like public buildings, public facilities, so on and so forth. The gray one is employment centers. All right. The other colors, though, yellow is low density residential. The the light orange is medium density residential, and the dark orange is high density residential. So when I'm talking about medium density residential, I'm talking about duplexes, townhomes, apartments. When I'm talking about high density residential, I'm talking about big, gigantic apartment buildings, like huge ones, like 3-4 story apartment buildings, stuff like that. So the old map is still online. It's on the City of St. Cloud's website. I did post it for some people when they were asking about it so they could see it for comparison. I didn't put it up here because it really doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't matter because this is the new map as of July 16th. And here is the detail that I'm talking about. On this map, like I said, the medium orange is medium density residential. As you can see, the whole lakefront side in the grid is all now zoned medium density residential, except for the one spot here between Vermont Avenue and Florida. The whole length of Florida Avenue is now designated commercial future land use. And the whole length of Lakeshore Boulevard along our lakefront is now designated future land use of commercial. So as you can understand, and absolutely I understand, a lot of residents are very upset about this. You know, the future land use is going to be medium density, which means apartments, duplexes, and townhomes all on the lakefront side of the grid in downtown St. Cloud. Lakeshore, commercial development. Commercial development means 7-Eleven. It means gas station. It means retail store. That's what that means. All along Florida Avenue, all along the lakeshore, and parts of 10th Street. Of course, those parts of 10th Street are already there. Those two blue blips off 10th Street, that's City Hall and the proposed parking garage that they're going to be building there. But yes, all of this is commercial. And I had posted a post on Facebook about this, talking about this. I actually got called out by a commercial developer. It was on the Osceola Politics page. I had posted what I thought what this is all leading towards and how this is going to go down. The commercial developer told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. I told him I absolutely know what I'm talking about. But my post wasn't there to teach people the entire process of how this was going to go down, okay? But the way that I see it, the way this is going to go down, is that one landowner or property owner on Florida Avenue and one on Lakeshore is going to get a massive offer on their property or home. $1 million property, $1 million offer. It's going to be life-changing, right? And of course, I don't blame that person if they sell. Good for you. You're going to make $1 million. Then the developer who buys that property has to go before the city council. They have to have that land zoned, and it has to be zoned for commercial. Right now, it's zoned for low-density residential. So they have to get it zoned for commercial. The thing is, John, now that they've changed the future land use map to commercial, it makes it that much easier for that developer to go down to City Hall and make that request for a zone change, and now they'll get it. So the developer will build whatever they're going to build, whether it's another mattress store, dentist office, whatever they're going to build. They're going to put it on Florida or going to put it on Lakeshore. Those surrounding properties that surround that monstrosity of whatever they build, those properties are going to see a big decrease in your property values. Then other developers are going to come in and buy up your properties at a discounted price, and then they're going to build it out. And that's how it's going to happen. It ain't going to be the city of St. Cloud buying up all these properties. They don't have the money. If they had the money, they'd be putting in that seaplane base they want so badly. No, this is how it's going to happen, at least the way I see it. I could be wrong, but that's the way I see that this is going to go down. I don't blame the residents for being upset about this. They were given almost no notice on this. And here it is. This is what I ran. This is why I ran in 2022, because I have been on city boards for the past 6 years. I've been watching and seeing the maps and the plans that have been coming down. I knew when I ran on 2022 what they wanted to do to the lakefront. And that's what I campaigned on. I went to door telling people, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen down here unless we get some people into office that are going to put a stop to this. Obviously, I did not get elected. I lost. But I see other potential candidates that are campaigning right now saying that they're talking to certain people about this, and good for them. But the truth of the matter is, unless you get a majority of 3 folks in there that are going to put a stop to this thing's happening. It doesn't matter. You can go down there in force on October 10th, and I know a lot of residents want to go down there on October 10th and speak to this and give the council an earful, but the truth is, unless you have 3 council members that are going to fight this thing, it's going to happen, no matter what. They might temporarily stall it. They might hold it back for a little while until things quiet down. But this is what they want. Excuse me. They've been wanting this for a long time. They want to make St. Cloud a tourist destination. That's the reason for the seaplane base. That's why they want to build out the lakefront. That's why they want to build out Florida Avenue. That Florida Avenue bike trail that they put in, that was never for you. That was never for the residents. That wasn't for you. That was for the people that they want to bring in here, so that they could have bike rentals down at the lakefront that you could ride your bike up into downtown St. Cloud. This is the plan. Trust me when I'm telling you. It's crazy, John. It's crazy. He'll speak in a second here.
Tom, it's funny that Tavares gets mentioned a lot when they talk about downtown St. Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Like the comparison, or we want to be like Tavares. I can guarantee you one thing. Tavares did not spend $20 million of taxpayer money to pave roads only to have them sealed over because the job was so bad and then let the construction company get away with it. That never happened in Tavares, number one. Number two, I think that there's an intention behind everything. Like, in terms of strategy, when you can accomplish more than one thing with the same action, that's good strategy, right? And I think that the things that they're accomplishing with this is, number one, they're creating exactly what you said, that there's going to be home value issues here. The people who benefit the most in terms of finances are the people at the very beginning who sell quick and fast, change their property rights. They're the first ones. The developer wants the choice property. They make those deals. Boom, the first ones. They make money. And then the ones that hold out to the last one, like if I want a commercial property, there's only 2 choices, these 2 houses. I'll pay whatever I need to. I don't care which one. I pay whatever amount is available so that I can get that commercial site. Those are the people that benefit. The people in the middle don't benefit the most. The other thing is that they're creating something. They're getting to capture this land. This is gentrification, essentially, right? They get to come in and grab all these houses in downtown because people are going to be leaving. And they're going to grab it for themselves and enrich themselves. That's always their plan. That's the point of corruption, is to do things like that. And then the other thing that they accomplish is that they get rid of all these people who have been here in St. Cloud for a long time, who are putting up resistance to what they want to do in terms of development. And that's the shame, is that they are accomplishing this. This is actually, it's probably a byproduct, because I couldn't imagine that they did this on purpose, because they don't think that far ahead, right? Like, whoever's thinking for them, whoever's paying the bills is the person who's coming up with this idea, and that idea gets rid of a whole bunch of problems. It gets rid of the long-term and long time residents. It gets rid of the resistance to what they're planning and to the idiocy that's been happening with those roads and the Toho water and so on. And then at the same time, it allows them to go and increase their portfolios by consuming in the opportunity that they're creating, by consuming that same opportunity that they're creating, by turning all these zones red, commercial, they can consume them themselves. So they've probably made plans. They've already, imagine you get to look at the playbook in advance. And that's these guys. They look at the playbook. And it's not like politicians are honest that they're going to look at the playbook so that they can decide for the community what's best. They look at the playbook and they're like, ooh, I want this, 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 and this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to line these things up so that I can make that happen for myself. And then what happens? They're the ones that they get to take advantage of it. So they look at the playbook, and then they design the playbook around the things that they want. And so that's what's St. Cloud is getting commercialized to a degree that it may never recover from. That small town feeling is on the verge of being gone forever. And, I think that the community needs to come out. They need to do some soul searching and figure out what they want St. Cloud to be in the future. And they need to take action to secure those things. And it's a shame to see what could happen. Because if St. Cloud goes, Kissimmee does not answer. Kissimmee does not provide the same feeling that St. Cloud does. These are two completely separate identities, Kissimmee and St. Cloud. And I'm not saying one's better than the other, whatever. I have my own preferences. But certainly, it'll be a shame for St. Cloud to go the way of some. And because the county commissioners, right? You have to remember, around the cities, there's nothing but disaster. In all the county, there's disaster. You have people like Ricky Booth, who's, tripping over his own pant leg and making messes in the county, and people like Brandon Arrington making mess. They're selling everything to the lowest bidder. They're making a mess. Yeah. So St. Cloud and Kissimmee are the only two opportunity to have good governance where you can enjoy some peace and quiet without the disastrous results of the city efforts. But I don't know that, St. Cloud is about to lose its way and go into some place where it can never return from.
Yeah, absolutely, John. This began with the logo change. That was the beginning of this, because they wanted to condition you to forget small town life in St. Cloud. That they wanted that out of your head. All right, so it began with that logo change, the ridiculous logo change, the ridiculous tagline with a word that doesn't exist, center place, the center place of your life. And the grand plan, though, came from former city manager Bill Sturgeon and former city councilman Dave Askew. They are the ones, Bill Sturgeon was from Tavares. So they took these trips to Tavares. They saw Tavares and the seaplane and how Tavares is set up.
And it looks like the cities and the counties are all getting together on these logo changes to make them all these, like, rainbow logos.
Yep. And it's very similar, right? So, they came up with this grand plan. They see Tavares, and they have Tavares downtown on its lakefront. They couldn't do the exact same thing here in St. Cloud, but they definitely wanted something on that lakefront more than what they have, so that when these seaplanes that they want come landing in St. Cloud, they have something to do. And then, the link to the downtown area through Florida Avenue, this is their grand plan. Bill Sturgeon and Dave Askew are gone, right? But the city planners have picked up on this. They love it. They want to run with it. And it's just a nightmare for anybody that remembers what St. Cloud was. Like, I grew up in St. Cloud. I remember, I've watched the changes over the years, the last 40-something years, and it's just unbelievable to me. Some of it was good, especially when it first started. It wasn't that bad. But now it's getting to a point where we're going to resemble a big city, where we're going to be more like Kissimmee. And that's not me saying anything bad about Kissimmee. Kissimmee is Kissimmee. We always knew Kissimmee was going to be big because it was attached to Disney World. I remember when there was go-kart tracks over by the Turnpike entrance in Kissimmee. These things used to be there. They were all over the place. But St. Cloud was your get away from all that. Get away from Orlando. Get away from Kissimmee. And now St. Cloud is becoming just like Kissimmee. And it, like I said, it's part of the plan. They planned the Poinciana connector to connect Poinciana with Canoe Creek Road. although it's going to be on the back end out towards more closer to Kenansville, not exactly Kenansville, but closer to there. It's just going to be a nightmare before it's all over, unless we make some serious changes at the Osceola County Commission and some serious changes in the St. Cloud City Council. This is all going to happen. It's going to happen. There's no stopping this train unless we make some serious changes. And that means the people of St. Cloud and the people of Osceola County need to wake up. You need to vote differently. Don't vote for that shiny mailer that you get that says all these nice things. Do some research. Learn about the candidates. Know who they are. Know where their money's coming from. And God, make a change, because it's really sad what's happening here. It's never going to be the same St. Cloud again. We can still save some of the small town feel that we have. Some. But it's never going to be the same, and it's only going to get worse from here. Believe that.
I mean, here's the thing. The bottom line, too, Tom, is if, let's say that the citizens of Osceola County, this is what they want now, right? The citizens of St. Cloud, they want this? Okay, well, fine. Let them have this. But at the same time, I mean, at least you have to take into account what the citizens want. And these people don't. They're running as if we're thieves, right? We just work the land. They're the dukes. They're the ones that run. They're princes, you know, and we're just like little peasants, you know, carrying on our business here, working for them. And that's just not the case. We have to have an equal say in the future of this community. And it can't just be a failed actor and a failed cowboy and and all these losers that are in charge and because they sell their soul. It can't be that, right? It can't just be corruption. We're being led by corruption. I mean, then we might as well, it makes for a disgusting situation for the citizens of this county.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, at the end, it's just, get involved. We need to decide as a county the identity that we want our city, Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and the county to have. And we can't let these people just run all over the county as if it's, it's their fiefdom. I mean, that's not working for the county. No. It's not working for any of the citizens.
It's not. All right, John. So we're coming to the end of the show right now. And like we talked about at the top of the show, we learned, sadly, that our friend Adianis Morales passed away yesterday morning. Just really sad. We saw this post today on Facebook, and just blew our minds. Our hearts and prayers go out to the family, to Joey, another great human being. And, now Adianis is with God, and I don't know. Just it blew my mind. I had no idea. Anything was wrong. I had talked to her maybe 2 months ago, just through a text. She invited me to something, and just to see this news just pop up out of nowhere, it just kind of, I was in shock for a minute, and I was just like, wow, I can't believe it. But great human being, Adianis. She will be missed, for sure. Remember, we're on a delay, so.
Yes, it's a big loss. And Adianis and Joey, we love you. We hope that you guys are, Adianis, we know where you're at. And Joey, we hope that you have a sense of comfort and peace, knowing that she's in good hands right now. And we're going to end the show with a little clip from Adianis, just so you can see what kind of person this was. We all miss her. Prayers for that family. If you want to help with their funeral expenses, we know that they are obviously very expensive. Reach out to me. I'll give you the phone number, and you can Zelle. I made my Zelle today to the family, and that's how they're asking. So please keep that in mind if you're able to, and if you are so inclined that you can reach out to me and for that Zella information, or you can, if you know the family, you can Zelle to Joey's number directly. So our prayers are with the family. Adianis, we're going to miss you. We love you. Joey, we hope that you're good. We love you and your family. And with that, we'll end with this. And please like and share the show. But Here we'll finish with this clip from Adianis.
Okay. Because unless we fix the problem with a supervisor of election offices nationwide, and then it doesn't matter how many great candidates we have if we don't target the root.
Well, it's a political office, though.
Oh, yeah.
We had that problem in Orange County, too, because in Orange County, the supervisor of elections sent out a notice, and that notice was wrong.
Yes.
They said that NPAs could not vote for the mayor.
Exactly.
Of Orange County.
Yes.
Right?
But at least they sent out a note. Ours didn't even send out anything. So that's why we had only 17.7% of voters voting in primaries. This is the third cycle that it goes down.
Okay.
So it's getting worse and worse and worse.
Okay, so is there a reason for them to do that, for it to go down?
Yes.
Okay, what's the reason?
The reason is Hispanics are waking up. Hispanics are realizing that we are not Democrats, that we are conservative at heart, that we believe in God, that we believe in life, that we believe in marriage. And
that you're making a major political statement right now.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, so what you're saying is that the lifestyle of Hispanics is really Republican, not Democrat, even though most Hispanics are Democrats.
Yes, and I believe, and I've studied this, that is because we get lost in translation. For example, we come from countries that are democráticos, because democracia is what we believe for, no, right? We live in. And that when we come here and we see the voter registration form, it has Democrat, Republican. It takes a Hispanic from 5 to 7 years to be interested in politics when they move to the United States. Why? Because they come for the big dream. They come to raise their families, to get a safe roof, a good job, so they can fulfill their dreams and their God-given destiny, right? So that is a very long time. So when you get visited and you get targeted at supermarkets by Hispanic organizations, and they tell you, oh, you're Hispanic, you're a Democrat, and then you see, oh, I come from a Democrat country, that's where I say we get lost in translation. We think we're Democrats because we come from democratic country. But really, Hispanics, we are very conservative at heart.
You're saying that the people who are registering Hispanics... Okay, all right, we'll qualify that. are actually entrapping Hispanics when they register to register Democratic when actually there shouldn't be, or they're not giving them a choice. They're guiding them in the wrong direction.
It is illegal to guide people to vote in a certain way. And why do I say it? Because I used to work for one of them, and I saw it with my own eyes, and that's why I did not last it with them.
Okay.